And welcome everyone. Welcome to this new video of management case study interview. I am Shyam Banka and today we'll be going through this new case study interview where a client is a credit card company. The purpose of this video is to give you an understanding of what is expected of you in a management case study interview and how a management case study interview progresses. For that reason, this video is divided into two parts. In the first part, I'll be going through the interview and present my understanding of it so that you get an idea of how a management case study interview goes. In the second part, we'll analyze the interview as a whole. For context, all the black text with blue background you see is the statement of the interviewer, and all the blue text with white background you see is the statement of the candidate. Let's begin. Your client is a credit card company based out of India. Recently, it has been experiencing a decline in its revenue. It wants you to analyze what is happening. So, the first statement told by a interviewer is one of the most important statements because it tells you the scope of the interview. Also, this is a profitability case study interviews, and a typical profitability case study interview is divided into three parts. In the first part, you try to understand the company, you try to understand the competition and the industry as a whole. In the second part, you try to structure the situation and figure out where exactly is the problem coming from. Once you figure out where the exact what the problem is, then you move to the third part, where you provide recommendations and solutions. So we are right now in the first part where we'll analyze the situation. Okay. So what do you have from the first statement is the client is a credit card company out of India. It has been experiencing a decline in its revenues, and it wants us to analyze what is happening. So usually, the question is based that a company sees a decline in profitability, and then you divide it in cost and revenue, and then you figure out where exactly is the problem coming from. But we have been told that the problem is in the revenue part of the profit. Okay, so let's understand more of the company now. I have a couple of questions through which I would like to gain some clarity about the situation. Since when have we been facing this problem, and how and what is the quantum of the drop? Okay, we have been facing this problem for quite a few years, and we have seen a 10% dip in revenues. That's a big number. Okay, by credit card company, do we mean credit card issuers like Citibank, ICICI, Axis Bank, or credit card networks like Masterbank or Visa, etc.? I mean to imply a bank like Citi, Axis, ICICI, etc. Sure. Also, are there variants in the variants of the credit card? Does the problem pertain to specific geography? We just have only one card, and we have seen revenues drop throughout the country. As far as I understand, earnings via credit card primarily happen through interest on outstanding amount, annual fees, and charges levied on merchants. Am I correct in saying so? For the purpose of this case, let us assume annual fee is the only revenue stream of with the company. I think the interviewer is trying to help the candidate a lot by actually streamlining everything for him. So we have the problem that's a nationwide problem, and the annual revenue is the only revenue which company has. Sadly, the problem seems to be unique to the bank. Sorry. Lastly, other companies are also witnessing the problem, or is it just us? Sadly, the problem is unique to the bank. Uh, This is interesting. The problem has persisted for quite a few years, while the other bank seems to be unaffected by this. In order to assess the situation, I would like to dissect revenues and drill down to understand the sources of the decline. The revenue occurring to the bank because of cards can be primarily seen as coming from either the retail segment or the corporate segment. Do you want me to analyze any particular bucket first? The problem ties with only the retail segment. All right. Now, if the revenues have dropped, the cause can be attributed to either the number of customers or the annual fees charged for customers. Do you have any idea on this? We have not charged the annual fee in quite some time. However, we do agree that there has been a percentile fall in the number of customers on our card. That is insightful. Number of customers at any point of time is linked to the rate at which the new customers join and the rate at which the old ones leave. Have we seen any change here? Yes. So the attrition rate has increased significantly over these past few years. However, onboarding of customers is still happening at a steady pace. So attrition rate is the rate at which the new customers are joining minus the old customers are leaving. So it's the attrition rate showing how much customers are actually leaving and not much new customers are joining. All right. Now I would like to now I would like to look at the customer's journey through the subscription and usage process. I believe that doing so should enable me to locate the exact problem the customer is facing. Surely go ahead. So I think the candidate has moved into the second part of the interview where he is trying to structure the problem and figure out where the problem is coming from. He understood what exactly is the core business, and now he is doing the analyzing part. Firstly, I would like to analyze the need for credit cards. Given there exists a wide range of alternative payment options like UPI, the need for credit card might have gone down. However, I find that unlikely since the problem of revenue dip has affected just our bank. Secondly, I would look at how much are people aware about our cards. If we adequately if we are adequately promoting our cards and the methods through which we are doing so. However, again, this should not be the issue since the problem is of high attrition rate and not of joining the company. Thirdly, I would look at the customer experience. Okay, right. I would like to focus on this bucket. Okay, which bucket? I think the last one because that was the lastly said. Sure, I would dive into the customer experience. I would divide the customer experience into three parts and then see if the problem lies in any of the components: pre-transaction, during transaction, post-transaction. The first stage would consist of channels to which the customer can approach the bank for obtaining a card in the first place. It would also deal with the joining formalities that the customer has to fulfill to acquire the card. I would like to inquire if there are any changes that we have seen in these steps. No, these processes have remained intact. All right. During the transaction phase, I would like to look at the pain points that the customer might face. I can think of high transaction failure rate, usually high processing time, and lack of ease while using the card. No, we compete well on these points and do not think they are issues to the customers. Lastly, I think I would look into the post-transaction stage. Here, the pain points of the customer might relate to the cumbersome repayment process of the credit card availed, frequency and mode of sending reminder communication, or perhaps dissatisfaction with the customer service provided. Does the problem lie with any of the above? No, we do. Okay, we don't think that the problem lies here. We possibly go ahead and look at what comes after the above steps? Surely, I think I missed the renewal stage. Do we have an idea there is if there is some problem attached with the renewal stage? Tell me more. Tell me more, Radha. So I think renewal stage would be one of the problem because it mentioned the attrition rate was declining, but the new customers joining are steady pace. So that means the old customers which were there are not staying with the bank and leaving the bank. So you could have got an idea from here also when you are told that attrition rate is declining and new customers are joining at the steady pace that the old customers are going. So renewal rate might be one of the reason for it. Okay. 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 I think I can segment the problem associated with renewal into the following heads. A, frequency of renewal. B, issue with the process. And C, customer support resources like quality of a customer service representative. Can you look at the issue with the process? Okay, the process problem can be either time related or effort related. Either so we had constituted a new renewal mechanism where the customer would have to re submit the documents and his CIBIL would be reassessed. This could have come across as a more demanding process to the customer. Okay, but why did we do so? It was a compliance requirement from the regulators end. However, the other banks apparently have chosen not to take it seriously, and hence the renewal process are quicker and more flexible. Can you give a few recommendations to help us turn around the situation? Definitely. Firstly, I would like to look at fixes in the short term. In the short term, our priority should be to curb the outflow through firefighting measures. For that, I think we can institutionalize the practice of sending renewal reminders well in advance. This would enable the customers to gradually complete the process and not be overburdened at the end. Secondly, while we do not we do the ab- secondly, while we do the above, we can look at providing incentives like lower annual fees temporarily, or co-branding with other companies. In long term, we can lobby with the government and request to make the compliance requirement less cumbersome. Alternatively, we can also look at taking the renewal process online and build an app for it if we do not have such a facility currently. Sure, that sounds doable. Thank you, Goethe. So it was a pretty good interview. The candidate was able to think in a very structured manner and then figure out what the problem is coming from with some good solutions. So we'll move to the second part of the interview where I'll analyze the interview as a whole. It's also very important to maintain very clear and crisp notes because sometimes at the end of the interview, the interviewer might ask for your notes and you should be able to understand everything in one glance. Major thing he looks for is how well you have structured and how well you have maintained the flowchart. Well, let's see. Interview notes. Customer churn rate. Look at customer journey. Banks are known for having lengthy documentation process and record keeping. Some case facts are credit card companies sure with national presence facing 10% dip in revenues. Revenue stream is annual charge, a problem specific to the company, problem with retail customers. Let's see the flow chart. Revenues divided into retail and corporate. There was problem in retail segment. Uh, to calculate retail segment, you take annual charge and you take number of cards. Number of cards were decreasing. You have broken down the whole value chain of number of cards users to need awareness, accessibility, affordability, and customer experience. Problem was in customer experience and in the phase where pre-transaction, during transaction, post-transaction, and renewal. The problem was in renewal. Recommendations provided by the candidate were in the short term, incentives to customer, lower annual charge or associations with different companies, and sending reminders to the customer as at frequent intervals before the renewal deadline can be done. Also, having an online facility, if not any, in place would be convenient for customers to upload the document details. In the long term, we can lobby with the government for easier procedures. Observations and suggestions for the interview were structure the problem till the end and modify the framework according to the needs, such as renewal was added to the framework. Segmentation of recommendation should be done according to the time period. Okay, the second suggestion was have a longer vision for the business. This could have enabled the ascertainment of the problem with the renewal process. So that was a case study. I hope you guys learned a lot from it. If you have a case study interview coming up, all the best for it. If you're looking to build a career in consulting and want to learn about different industry. So this is my videos are very good practice for doing that, not just going understanding how an interview goes, but also understanding how a different companies or different sector operates. And for that reason, I upload a video every day. Do follow the channel, do subscribe to the channel because it's a very good habit to watch one video every day and form a regular habit of it. And with that, I would like you to thank you for watching the video and hope you have a nice day.